Hello, I am Anaya, member of the SDG's Fab Lab Global Working Group. This talk presents my Fab26 paper titled Assessing Data Availability Across Maker Networks, Measuring Information Preparedness for Disaster Response. During COVID-19, maker networks worldwide became real emergency suppliers. The coronavirus makers in Barcelona produced PPE and ventilator components. The Reservice project consolidated this across Europe, Mexico, and the US, saw parallel networks, and Field Ready does this in disasters beyond pandemics. The capacity is proven and documented. The problem is that past crisis responses relied on temporary fixes, like social media and spreadsheets, so the knowledge disappears once the crisis ends. Studies only look backward at what happened, but no one has actually tested if these networks are ready for the next disaster. This paper provides that missing measurement. 4 questions in sequence: what data exists, what data a disaster response needs, the gap between those two, and the first actionable step to close it. The first three are empirical, the fourth is constructive. The method: I built the Distributed Manufacturing Data Kit, an open ETL pipeline that ingests 10 platforms, live APIs, Google Maps layers, web maps, field survey databases, normalizes them, and classifies every column into a 20-class manufacturing taxonomy using NLP-assisted extraction. Then two statistics, pairwise semantic intersection, and hierarchical clustering over Jacquard distances. All 10 platforms had documented COVID involvement. A coordinator must do 4 things with a facility record: find it, reach it, task it, and trust it. 8 essential data categories operationalize the first 3. Note the framing: data is a proxy, a necessary precondition for activation, not proof that machines actually run. Keep the red box in mind, it returns. One source deserves a close-up. Source 12, a field-ready survey collected during the pandemic, the richest schema in the sample and the noisiest. Enumerators logged from fixed hubs producing GPS megaclusters like this specific excerpt. Paper record incentives rewarded volume over accuracy. After filtering, roughly 83% of 10,000 records were discarded. The lesson: adopting a metadata standard does not by itself ensure integrity. Validation must be designed in. First finding: clustering the schemas reveals a hard boundary at Jacquard distance, 0.66. 6 operational sources describe what facilities do, processes, equipment, schedules. 4 directory sources are semantically interchangeable and say only where facilities are. The 2 tiers cannot merge under one schema without losing exactly the information that matters. Remember, this is about data collected already by interest on being part of a network for disaster response. Our second finding is that detailed data is dangerously concentrated in just a few sources. For example, equipment data is only found in 3 sources, while organization, product, and manufacturing process data are limited to just 2. If we lose this specific manufacturing intelligence, the entire combined dataset becomes nothing more than a basic geographic directory. Third finding: against the 8 essential categories, only 2 of 10 sources span all of them, and the most complete one is the frozen, noisy 2021 survey you just saw. Thousands of makerspaces are on the map. Almost none carry the data depth needed to actually activate them. What does this mean? Supply chain resilience wants redundancy at the critical points. This ecosystem has it inverted: massive redundancy in location registration, essentially none in operational intelligence. The maker movement solved the hardware half of distributed resilience. The data half is now the binding constraint. The answer to RQ4 has 2 parts. First, we delivered the DMDK, an open tool that allows any platform manager to reproduce our methods and measure their own data gaps. Second, we proposed the DRPI, a 7-part preparedness index based entirely on those actual gaps rather than guesswork. Full details are in the repository. The main takeaway is that measurement must come first, because it ensures all future interventions are highly targeted. Concrete implications: platforms extend schemas toward the 8 categories and integrate by union, preserving unique fields. Facilities. The single most effective step is completing and refreshing your record on one operational platform. NGOs budget for validation and never pay per record. You saw why. Funders. For source concentration is a public single point of failure. Fund continuity. It is important to acknowledge the study's limits. It measures digital readiness rather than actual physical capability. Regarding my own background, I have deep hands-on experience in this field, having led the Make-E project's map of machinery and worked as an open no-ware specialist, but my perspective is primarily that of a practitioner. Because of this, independent external validation of these findings is an open and necessary next step. To close, the pandemic proved the machines, the skills, and the willingness exist. What failed to persist is the data, and without deliberate correction, the next crisis restarts discovery from zero. Everything is open, paper, dataset, notebooks, the DRPI specification, and benchmark registry at the repository on screen. I'm Antonio Anaya, thank you, and I welcome your questions.